Welcome to this tutorial on metric conversions. As I had mentioned in our notes, you are going to have to be able to convert within the metric system on the test, the unit test. And we're going to have some practice in class, but this is just an extra tutorial in case you're struggling. Now, converting within the metric system is a lot easier than converting within the English system. So you've seen this diagram before. This was in our notes. And one of the things people often ask, well, what do you mean by base unit? Well, the base unit, this is the neat thing about the metric system. It doesn't matter what the base unit is. The base unit could be the meter. So if I write out meter, it could be the liter. And I write the next one up here, it could be the gram. It doesn't matter. Everything else is the same. You could have a kilogram, you could have a kilometer, you could have a kiloliter. You could have a centigram, you could have a centimeter, you could have a centiliter. It doesn't matter. And that's the neat thing about the metric system. Now, first of all, one of the things I will warn you is we've put a little English version to this. For example, the meter. We call it the meter, but a lot of times in books and whatnot, you'll see it spelled M-E-T-R-E. That's the European way of spelling it. And a lot of times, I'll call it a kilogram. They may call it a kilogram. So if you hear kilo versus kilo, it's the same thing. It's just where you are and how you pronounce it. So let's do one metric conversion. So let's say, for example, let's use the meter. So I'm just going to quickly change pen colors here. So let's use the meter. So let's say we have 10 meters. Okay, now first of all, if you see a number like this, where there's just 1 and a 0, if there is no decimal, it goes here. One of the common mistakes students will make is if they don't see any numbers, or they don't see any decimals, they'll think the decimal goes here or here. But think about it. If you saw 1 and a 0 and it was 10, if the decimal was here, it would be 1, so it wouldn't be 10. Or if it was here, that's a dime. That's even less. So just always beware. If there is no decimal, the decimal goes right here in front. So let's go from meters. In other words, we're going to go from the base unit, and let's go higher. Let's go to kilometers. Now the first thing you have to be able to do, you have to be able to realize you're going to be going 1, 2, 3 spaces, and you're actually going to move the decimal in that same direction, 3 spots. So I'm going to quickly change colors again. So if I move this decimal 3 spots, I'm going to move it here, that's 1. If I move it again, that's 2. If I move it again, and I'm going to put my decimal here. Now I moved it here, that would have made it 1. If I would have moved it here, it would have been 0.1. But I moved it here. Now I have to put a 0 here because I have to hold that place. So if I was to convert 10 meters, how many kilometers would it be? It would be 0.01. Now I can drop this 1 because I don't need it here. I don't need to hold that place at all. So what did I do? I just moved over 3 spots and I moved the decimal to the left. Why to the left? Because I was going from the meter to the kilometer. So do you have any questions with that? Let me get rid of a few things and delete a couple things. Let's do it a different way. Let's say if we had 10 meters and we wanted to go to milliliters. So we're going to move to this spot here. So I got to go 1, 2, 3 spots in that same direction. So let me draw this down here. So I have 10. I'm going to quickly change colors again. So I have to move 3 spots and I'm moving in this direction. So I'm moving to the right. And I like to make these little loops here. So I'm moving 3 spots. So I moved 1, 2, 3. So here's my new decimal. And the reason I make those 3 spots is I know I have to have a 0 in each of those. So 10 meters equals 10,000 millimeters. All I have to do is move the decimal either to the left or to the right, and you just have to count how many spaces you will be moving it. Okay, so let me delete a few things. I'm going to grab the eraser here. And so you see the eraser over there. We're going to go back to the pen, so that hopefully will disappear. Actually, let me move this out of here. I'm still getting used to using this new program, Autodesk Sketchbook Express. So let's do another metric conversion. Let's go with blue again. Let's say I have 100 milli. What do you want to do? Grams? Let's go milligrams. It doesn't matter what it is. It's still milli. It could be milligrams, milliliters. You do the same conversions. Remember, if there's no decimal, it's right here. And let's go the other way. Let's go to the meter. So if I was going to go to the meter, I've got to look here. I got to go 1, 2, 3 spots to the left. So I just moved a decimal 3 spots to the left. 1, 2, 3. And then I don't need to do anything else. It's right there. So if I was to write this down, do I need these? Technically not. So if I was to move it and I start with 100, now 100 millimeters equals 0.1 meter. In other words, 1/10. How about we go the other way once? Let me delete a few of these things. It's easier to click than to erase. So let's start way up on the other side. I'm going to go with a green to start out here. Let's say we have 1,000. Let me erase this. We're gonna do something a little bit different here instead of showing you how to convert again. Let's just start with 1 meter. How many decimeters would that be? If I had to move it, remember the decimal's here. If I move it over 1 spot, it actually equals 10. If I move it over 2 spots, 1, 2, 1, 2, it actually equals 100 centimeters, which makes sense because in a meter stick there is 100 centimeters in 1 meter. And then if I had to move it over once more here, I just had to move the decimal over 3 spots because I moved it 3. How about if we go the other way? Well, the decimal's got to go the other way. If I go up here, I got to move the decimal 1 to the left. So I would move it over, let's kind of go a dashed line. It would be right here. It would be a 1. If I had to move it over 1 more, it would be 0.01 because I'd have to move it over 1 more spot, so I'd have to get that 0 in there. If I moved it over here 1 more time, it'd be 0.001. So here's the lesson. Whatever you have, all you have to do is first count how many spots do I move it over. Then you have to move the decimal either to the left or to the right. The most common mistake people will make is they will move in the wrong direction. And one of the things I'll tell them, when I convert, when I help you in class, I literally count these out. 1, 2, 3, so I don't make a mistake. But students a lot of times will try and do all this in their head. They'll try and move everything in their head, and it just does not work. So I really suggest you write out the numbers just like we have here. If this tutorial is not enough and you want me to sit down with you and work with you some more before the test, feel free to come in. We can set up an appointment before or after school, maybe during lunch, and we will master metric conversions. And as always, again, ask your teacher if you have any questions. Thank you.